Welcome back to the channel. I'm Ninja Turtle, and in today's video we're going to talk about some customs that I've made that aren't really full customs. They're just some small modifications, although later on there will be a full custom making its debut in this video, but we'll talk more about that later. But for the most part, this video serves two purposes: just to show some small things that I've made changes to existing figures, or customs that I've worked on in the past that I've made some modifications to, and just kind of compile them all in this video. It's not a whole lot, so we're going to go through those really quickly. And then the second purpose of this video, I am going to be taking a break on making customs, so we're going to talk about that in the second part of this video. So if you're interested in how this channel is going to work in 2024, stay tuned for that. But let's go ahead and talk about Gambit right now. So this is, again, I've actually made this custom before, and I talked about it before in a similar video like this, but I went back and did it again because of mostly when I did that, I think it was like a year ago, when I painted I repainted this face. So the head is from the Target exclusive Gambit, but everything else, the body and all of the hands and stuff, are from the original, I don't know, the Juggernaut wave or whatever it was, release of Gambit. This is that body with the brown, dark brown coat. So none of that's been painted, altered, changed, or anything modified, except for, I guess, the crisscrosses and all that detail that was not there before. I did that last time. But when I painted his flesh tone before, I was very new at using the Vallejo acrylic paint. So it was very much an experimental phase, and I had tried using the dark flesh tone and I didn't like the way it came out. So I scrambled and just mixed together a bunch of other paints and just painted it, and was like, okay, that's good enough. So a year later, I didn't like it, and I went back, and after I've got all this experience using Vallejo paint now, I figured out that flat flesh tone Vallejo acrylic paint is the best color for Gambit, in my opinion. So that's what you see here. I repainted his face one more time with flat flesh tone, and then also repainted the cowl because that was a little shoddy with black, and then add a satin finish on the cowl so that it matches the rest of the black that's on him, that has like a little bit of a sheen to him, and while his face still is a matte finish, so it doesn't have a sheen. And also did the same with his hands, so all of that matches nicely, and now we have a good looking Gambit. I do like the new head sculpt on that, like the team suit that just came out. If I ever were to acquire that, perhaps I would swap it on here, but I'm okay with him having the same head sculpt on this Gambit and then my other Gambit that I have with the light brown suit. Alright, just quick work with my custom Ritsuko Akagi Evangelion. All I did was I updated her feet. So before, I had used feet that were from like one of the Ghostbusters, Hasbro Ghostbusters figures, and I thought they would be fine because she's a shorter character, so use smaller feet. I didn't realize how incredibly small those feet were. They are tiny. Those are for like children. They're very small. So I went back after I realized that and just gave her regular size feet that are from most Marvel Legends characters, female characters that have their feet available. So these are resin copies of just regular feet. They're still a little on the big side, and funny enough, I just recently realized that I do have, they're not technically smaller feet, but I am going to copy these eventually, and that's these feet from the X-Men movies Mystique. She also has bare feet, so they're the same length, but they're more narrow than these feet. So these would look best on Ritsuko. But you also have to work and get all the like scales and stuff off and so on. I don't think if you were to buy these feet here on the Mystique and you did have a Dremel to get the scales off and sanded it real good, I just still don't think these would actually fit a normal Marvel Legends foot peg for a lady. But because I make resin copies, when I do that, I have to drill a hole in the new foot that I make, and the new hole that I drill will fit. So I can actually use these. But for anyone else is doing this, I don't think you can just take it off the shelf and take this Mystique up foots off the shelf and then make your own bare feet. I think you need to put in a little bit of work. But yeah, that's all that changed with this, is that I gave her bigger feet that look better on her than before. All right, so back to Harley Quinn. I made this a few months ago, and if you watch that video, you should go back and check it out. One of the things I'd said is that I couldn't figure out a good way to make her wrist frilly things, but I came up with an idea not too long ago, and boom, I've got the update. So she has wrist stuff now. So what these are from Black Widow. Those her like Widow's Bite or whatever those things are called on her wrist. The comic book versions of Black Widow, she has those, and that's what I used here. Just painted them white and gave them a matte finish. And if I had this idea when I actually made Harley Quinn, I probably would have glued these down to her wrist and then painted them that way. But because it was an afterthought, a month later, I ended up just painting them separately and then not painting the inside, because so there's still gold on the inside and unpainted. So that way, if I do, like I did, I don't have to worry about paint rub if I want to take them off, or it ruining the arm or anything like that. It's not exactly how Harley Quinn's wrists look, but I think it's a worthy substitute, considering all the ideas that I went through and trying to get this to work. I think that these are acceptable. All right, now we're back on to new X-Men Jean Grey. Some upgrades here. One of the things I did is that basically I swapped out her legs. So I had a different leg set up before, but this puts her more in line with how I've been building Madeline Pryor / Jean Grey over the last few builds. So she is a slight bit more curvy in the hip area compared to before. But most importantly is her lower leg, and that before I had just the regular leg and I tried to paint the X on there, and I did a really shoddy, sloppy job of that. This time I had the opportunity to go back and update this, so now I've actually sculpted the X on there, and because I took time to put sculpt on there, I had time to make sure it looked good as a sculpt and then painted it appropriately, so it looks a lot better than it did before, if you were to go back and check out that video. And because also I had used resin shoes, like copies of resin shoes before, I had to redo those as well. So these are some brand new wedges that I had to redo so they could fit in this leg. So but yeah, the X's on her legs look so much better now, and makes this figure look really good. All right, so we got an update to a classic Black Widow. So yeah, it looks incredible, honestly. It literally took me 5 minutes, and I'm not even exaggerating, 5 minutes to make this, because there's no painting required. There's just really just a swap of body parts. So if you got a Shriek body mold, obviously it's all black already on the Shriek body mold. The only real difference between that and this is the Shriek has her breasts like individual breasts on the upper torso, where this one is using the more bodysuit cloth t-shirt type of top, for what it's worth. But this is just removing the, well, honestly, I did it the complicated way, but you can do it my way or the easier way. So the easier way would be to take a Shriek body mold and just actually it would be easier to take the upper torso from any black figure, any of them that's just black already like this. But if you have the Black Widow that's already like this, and you don't have to worry about paint on it, the original retro carded Black Widow, that is. But any black figure, one would be Dark Star, I think, would be a good one, that has a black upper and lower torso. But anything like that, and then swap on the double jointed pinless arms from the Shriek, remove the white paint on that, because that's what I did here. And you can use the legs are already black on the Shriek figure, so there's no need to do anything there. If you use the same lower torso on the Shriek figure, there is some white there, so you can remove that, and then pop on your Black Widow head. I do prefer this older head from the first time, this is from the bike, Black Widow that came with the bike. I do prefer this one over the newer heads that came out, just because of the hairstyling. I think this one looks better than that, the newer head that has the retro hairstyle in color. So I like this one better, but you know, to each his own. Use whatever head you desire. But yeah, it's just removing the black, or removing the white, excuse me, and making sure the accessories are on her wrists, and the belt and stuff like that. It's super simple and easy. This serves as a preview though. I did this, like I said, literally in 5 minutes, and I did it months ago, but I do have like this strong itch to make a bunch of Black Widows, and I've been planning them out for some time. I'll talk more about that shortly, but this is a preview for how Black Widow might continue to look from customs from me. All right, we'll wrap this section of the video up with X23. So it's been a long time making. I did this about 2 months ago now, and so first off, this is a remake. I did this figure, one of the first figures I did on the channel like 3 years ago, and this is using everything that I had before and only really adding new paint on it. So it's a fresher paint color and top coat, as well as the belt. So the belt is now actually made of metal, and it has actual holes in it, and unlike before, and yeah, it's really nice looking and accurate for X23. And I had to refresh all the paint on her and made her a little darker. I gave her a new head sculpt. The head sculpt is the Nico Minoru head, as opposed to the actual Laura Kinney head that came with the Wolverine figure. I sold that Wolverine figure because I do plan on making my own version of it, and it'll be a lot better than how Hasbro's done it. This is fine for me. This body mold and stuff, I do have a lot of issues with how this body mold works. That's why I want to make my own Wolverine and other Laura Kinneys, but I kept her on this body mold because this is the younger Laura, so I want her to look smaller, and I'm fine with, you know, settling with this for her. Also, this hair, I forgot, this hair is from the Shang-Chi figure, the Katie character. That's what this hair is right here. And I just fitted it to the Nico Minoru head. I had to redo her face, her eyes, because it looked much worse than it does right now. It had the first time around, so I fixed it for what it's worth, and her eyes look a lot better than they did a few weeks ago. So I actually had recorded this video a few weeks ago, but yeah, I had to redo that because it wasn't satisfactory, as well as this figure too. So here's the actual new one. This is X23. And speaking again, that last one is how she looks in Marvel vs. Capcom, but she looks like this also in Marvel vs. Capcom. This is her alternate costume in that game, Marvel vs. Capcom 3. So it is coming from a variant cover that she literally only wore this outfit on that variant cover, and it was just that one time, but it is an alternate costume for her in the game. And yeah, so this is a full-on brand new custom though. Like I said, I did not give her foot claws this time just because I already have one with foot claws, so I didn't feel like doing it again. But I tried my best to match. You can't really, again, it's only one image of this that exists in all of the world, and then you can look at the costume in the game, but they just did a palette swap, so it's not exactly accurate for the game or in the game. But you can see I have some straps on her legs that part of the straps come off of her leg and fly off. Her pants have do they have a satin finish or a matte? I think they have a matte finish, but her boots have a gloss finish. So give her nice glossy boots. I did not paint her claws at all. I just left them the way they normally are. On the other figure, I did have to paint those. And then, yeah, the black and white stripes, and used the hair from the X-Force X23 and put it on the Nico Minoru head. And again, her eyes the first time around a few weeks ago, they were cross-eyed. So I was going to post that pictures and the videos, but every time I looked at it, I was like, man, she is really cross-eyed. I really messed this up. But she looks a lot better now. So I'm glad I went back and touched her up a little bit. But yeah, that'll do it for as far as like the small little customs. Again, this is a full-on custom, but as far as everything else, that's all that I've gotten a chance to work on the side. I unfortunately got sick for pretty much a whole month, and it sidelined me quite a bit. And I had a whole lot of other figures I want to go back and touch up and work on the side. But yeah, when you can't move your neck, you just can't really do much. And that's part of what happened to me, but I won't go into detail about that. But let's go ahead and talk about other stuff. All right, IRL Ninja Turtle now. So as far as the rest of this video goes, this is just me talking about all the stuff that I'm going to be doing over the next couple months, which would be not making toys. So this is my time to take a break. I decided a little bit early. I was just gonna cut it off here with that Diantha figure being my last real custom, and I finished that about a couple days ago at the time of this recording. And yeah, I was rushing. I was trying to get some stuff done. I really wanted to get a couple characters done before the end of the year, but I knew it was going to take me more than a week to even do one of them. So doing two characters with 4 or 5 costumes each would have been a little bit too much. So I just said, no, I'll just go ahead and do those next time I come back. So so when is that? Again, there won't be any uploads or any new customs put out on this channel for some time, quite some time. It's going to be a few months at least, and I say that because I usually take a gaming breaks. If you're watching this for the first time, I'm going to play video games and get caught up on a lot of major releases that came out and the ones that are coming out soon. In particular, it's going to be a lot because almost all of these are RPGs, like long RPGs that I've been putting off, and then some that are coming out. So Persona 5 Tactica just came out a month ago. I'm not going to elaborate on all of these, but Persona 5 Tactica I'm playing, and then Fire Emblem Engage, God of War Ragnarok, Persona 3 Reload, Final Fantasy 7 Crisis Core, Final Fantasy 7 Reunion, and then Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. And I feel like there's another game in there that I'm forgetting that I'm supposed to be playing, but I will have to say it's at least 6 games that I'd like to play, and half of them are very long RPGs that will take a long time to play. So, um, in the very least, the last of those games to come out will be Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Comes out at the end of February, and it would take me probably a few weeks to finish it. So at the very earliest, I would expect um, new content on this channel would be in April, but that's still pushing it because again, these games are going to take a long time to play. And that's not even necessarily where I'm going to stop. I might actually play some more games because I've been wanting to play Cyberpunk 2077 for a little while now. I have not played that at all, and I know it would take a long time because it's a very, very content-rich game. So, um, that being said, yeah, there's going to be a little while before I make any customs here. But here is a little exclusive for you. So this, I have not put this on social media at all. I haven't said anything about this on Twitter, or not Twitter, blah, Blue Sky. By the way, I have a Blue Sky account. I just got it like a couple of weeks ago. I don't have a Twitter anymore. I have Blue Sky. So if you have Blue Sky, follow me. I do have links in the description. I'm also on Instagram. Those are my only socials, but aside from YouTube. But I have not put this out there on Instagram or Blue Sky. So I'm taking this break, but I'm also planning on still making customs very lightly. So I'm going to play a game, say Fire Emblem Engage, and once I beat it, I'm going to come back and make, not come back, but go back and make a custom or two of a character, and then play another game and make another custom, and then play another game, so on until I get done. So that way I'm not going to be completely on break from making customs for the next couple of months because I don't want to get far behind, basically. I want to have some progress being made. In particular, I did talk about this in that last video with the, actually earlier in this video, I'm thinking about the other, actually it was the last video. I did talk about it then as well. Black Widow. Um, so I have my new custom that I did a few months ago, and like I said, I've been itching to make more, and I literally have, and I was going to try to get all of this done. I was going to remake this one. This is the one that's on the channel. This is like the highest viewed video I have, like several thousand of you like this thing. I'm gonna redo that one and make it better. Here's the actual, the new one. They're not touching that one. There's the biker one. I'm not touching that one. But here is the gray one. I'm gonna redo this and take the jacket off and give her just the gray suit and give her the new body mold with all of the pinless stuff. I'm gonna do the white one. This is the Deadly Origins in white. They're in plastic bags for a reason, but here's Infinity War. I'm not touching that. I have Avengers right here. This is the new one that just came out with the double jointed arms. I'm not touching that. And here is Infinity War. Or excuse me, in game. Excuse me, that was in game. And then here is another one that is going to be the Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, or something like that. I'm not sure if I'm gonna use this body mold or not, but that's a lot of Black Widows. As you can see, there's a reason I had these all out, because I was gonna make a bunch of customs. I'm also gonna do the Hellfire Gala Black Widow, at least hopefully. But I had all these out because I wanted to make a whole video like, here's a crap ton of Black Widows. Um, Here's some customs I made, and here's some that are modified, and here are just every Black Widow ever. So I had these sitting out on my computer desk here because I was going to make that as a video, but like I said, I just don't have time to work on it right now. But that is what I'm going to be doing over the course of the next couple of months, is just knocking out one of those Black Widows, one or two at a time, and then going back and playing games. So hopefully by the time I'm done with playing games, I'll have all of the Black Widows done, and it'll be like the first video I upload. And maybe if I get those done expediently and I still have some other games to play, I can work on other characters, like who you see over here. that's been sitting on my shelf for a very long time, and that's Mary Jane. I've been wanting to redo this for a long time and wanting to redo, well, not redo, well, yeah, I mean, they're all getting redone, just to give them a better, longer torso and better proportions and stuff. But I also want to make the animated series one my style instead of Hasbro. And also, you can see the Waldos right here. So for that, Mary Jane, and so on. I just wanted to work on those. I don't have time for that. And then Psylocke and Jean Grey, there's those other ones as well. So it's a lot. I'll be working on those when I come back. Um, but yeah, that's kind of the idea. Is that that's what I want to do. So before I go, one thing I wanted to do because I thought it would be a little fun. Instead of, because I normally, when I'm coming back from break, I'll make a video saying, hey, these are the things I'm going to be making over the course of the next couple months. I find it funny because I've done it several times that I make that video and then I don't end up making the stuff that's in that video. So I thought it'd be fun to actually go back and look at some of the things that I said I was going to make and then see if I have actually made them right now. I made this thumbnail, this preview video, 2 preview videos ago. So this is probably about a year ago. Yeah, about a year ago. So uh, sometime in the winter, I believe. And yeah, so I've made some of these, and some of these I have not. In particular, Blue Mary, I still haven't made her. She's coming. I've been pushing her off. I've been kind of going back and forth on how I want to build her, but for the most part, I'm still going to make her. That's still going to happen. I did the black cat figures, so as of right now, I'm kind of in. I'm definitely needing to remake some of them. I'm gonna try to use like actual hair, like soft goods hair, on her fur for her arms and stuff, and give her that upgrade. And then I might make her either on pinless legs or just give her bigger legs and not have her be as skinny as I've been making her. I've been going back and forth on that. Like, she should be skinny, maybe she shouldn't. I don't know. It's just, I've been kind of going back and forth on it. But I'm definitely not using that Moonstone body mold for sure. That's not gonna happen. But I've been thinking about that. This storm all I did was paint her wrist, so that wasn't a big deal. Ada, um, yeah, she's coming too for sure. I've been pushing that one off. The biggest thing is this dress because I don't know if I can give that detail that's on this dress, but all of the other Adas I think I can make. And we'll see. But she's coming. I wanted to also make Resident Evil characters all together as opposed to doing one and then leaving them behind and doing another one later on, which I will talk about shortly again. I did this though, that was a year ago. I made all the Sabrinas, I made the Emmas, although she needs to be touched up and redone. I did them. And then Kyoka right here, I canceled. It was just a full on cancel. I ended up buying a statue for that. um, I did cancel this because I didn't think I can do her earlobes, the earphone jacks. I don't think I would have done them justice. The way that it was turning out, it looked really bad. So I just decided to scrap the entire project and buy those statues. But that's that. That was this thumbnail's from like a year ago. This thumbnail was from the summer. I made this one most recently. So look, it's Ada again. I still haven't made her, but yes, I'm definitely. I also wanted to wait because again, RE4 had came out this past what, March, April, whatever it was. So I didn't, have all the details on what her costume would look like and alternate costumes and stuff. Same thing with Ashley. So yeah, all of these, Ashley, Ada, and Jill, because I wanted to redo Jill, and I want to do Claire as well. I wanted to bunch them all together so that way you can see a bunch of Resident Evil girls all at one time as opposed to spaced out over the course of 3 years or something like that. I did the Sentinel. I just talked about Mary Jane. I might work on that soon. I did Nightwing. I did Dagger. Mai Shiranui. So, the thing about Mai is, like literally, that was the next figure I was about to make. I have all this stuff right here, even like some twine, this candle wick, I should say. I was going to make her, and I still am, but just ran out of time. That's it. That's all it was. Just ran out of time, and she will be one of the first things I work on. I do still want to think about how I would make her like this thing back here. I'm not 100% sold on how I want to do that. There's quite a few things. I'm just looking at this picture now, and I did buy this with different intentions entirely, but I did buy this string here with completely different intentions. But now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I could buy a bunch of this and put a bendy wire in there and then throw that her on her back or on her waist and stuff, and then throw the little marble thing. I have that as well. I have that ball, so I'm ready to go. I'm going to make several Mai's, but there's some things that would have taken a little bit more time. Like I said, I didn't want to rush making 4 Mai Shiranui figures in 1 week, and it would not have worked out really well. And then also, lastly, is Fran. I did say it's the year of the rabbit in China. Um, that's going to be the year of the dragon next year, I believe. And yeah, I wanted to fit Fran in there, some other rabbit themed characters. It just didn't happen. But I still plan on making Fran, and hopefully we'll make her fairly early on in 2024 when I get back to making customs. But yeah, we'll talk about that, the actual preview, when I make that video a few months from now, talking more extensively about what I'm going to be making here. But let me go ahead and end this video now. I do thank you for the support. Thank you for the friendly comments and suggestions. Thank you for watching and subscribing. I do appreciate everything that's going on here as well. Follow me on Blue Sky, like I said. I have that account now if you have one. And follow me on Instagram. I won't be posting much anything on Instagram over the next couple months, but on Blue Sky I will be using like it was Twitter, because I loved Twitter at one time and then things happened and now I'm on Blue Sky. So I prefer Blue Sky over other platforms. So I'll be using that regularly, and yeah, I will see you guys then. Hopefully you have a good start to 2024. Happy New Year to you. And I will see you guys in a few months after I've learned how to play like 7 games. So anyway, see you later.